You can go and source out meat places, go to farms. I know they're attacking the Amish. If you have access to Amish farms, save up your money. Stop buying like clothing from Temu. We talked about the nanofibers in a lot of these cheap clothing. You guys are going to like Temu, Shen. You know what companies? Those are coming from Xinhua. Why would you buy any clothes from China? You shouldn't buy anything that's sourced from China. They have nanoparticulates in the actual fiber of the clothes. And please do not put non-organic fiber on your little boys. I'm telling you, moms, someone said they can't afford it. Yes, you can. You listen, as mothers, it is the natural directive of us as parents to want the best for our offspring. That's your future. That's your grandbabies. You take the time, like, oh, maybe you can't do certain things, but that's not the point. But you make sure your son will be healthy and your daughter's healthy for the long term, so your grandbabies are healthy. You remember, your little girls are carrying their eggs. So remember, us as mothers, when we carry our little girls, we carry 2 generations. I carry my daughter and I carry my grandchildren because she has her eggs. You have to make sure that the girls are healthy. They aren't doing weed and all that stuff. Weed is why most men are actually feminine, actually now. They chiefing all the time, and chief is feminine plant. They're taking all that and it's causing health, and their wands aren't working. Listen, I talked to a mom the other day. Her 17-year-old boy has problems having a full-on erection. Now, you say, why does a mother? Of course she would know that, because her son is concerned for his health. He goes to the doctor, and the doctor's not telling him. He's not telling him, don't put your laptop on your lap. Don't put your cell phone. The doctor is another form of mind control programming agenda. He's not going to tell you the things to do. A lot of these young boys are putting their cell phones and their laptops on their genitals, and it's causing problems. And then if they took the Kukaraji shot, it causes circulation issues. So it's not going to get all pumped up like normally with blood because there's a lack of circulation. A 17-year-old boy shouldn't have an erectile dysfunction. He shouldn't have ED. And a lot of men are getting it younger and younger because they are eating soy, latent food. They're taking a lot of these drugs, these painkillers, all of these type of weaponized drugs over the counter. So it's causing nerve damage and also circulation issues. It's very important. Like, I shouldn't be like, this is why I say, be careful the people you go online. You don't hear men talk about that. You'll hear men talking about doing drugs, mushrooms, taking more drugs, smoking more chief. They're proud of it, but they don't tell you that their women are, listen, the women are dissatisfied sexually. I talked to some of the women of some of these men online who tell you to do mushrooms and tell you to do all this marijuana and smoke online. A lot of them can't even get their Johnsons up. Their wands aren't working. They won't tell you that though, but the women will tell us. We have to stop. We have to stop uniformly promoting drug use. Drug use is why a lot of our youth are mentally ill and they're physiologically aren't as strong as their grandfathers are. So when you keep pushing a culture of marijuana and pushing a culture of all these psychedelic drugs, they don't tell you that when you do all this ashwagandha, what's that stuff? Not ashwagandha. What's the stuff they do? Oh God, that psychedelic thing they do. I forgot what it's called. What is it called, y'all? You know the psychedelic thing they did? I mean, I got attacked. Ayahuasca. Thank you, Yafi. They don't tell you that doing those things long term cause ayahuasca. Like, people will promote it all over the place, and then they don't tell you that years later people are suffering from mental illness, or that sometimes what it causes is like an opening into the orifice part of their brain that ends up making them depressed later on. A lot of these people keep promoting it. I would just question any channel that is promoting constant drug use. It's very sad. Ayahuasca wasn't intended to do regularly. And also, the fact of the matter is, it was an invitation that the plant kingdom would give to you, not you to it. So you have a lot of this whole culture of drugs, but they don't tell you, like the men are not telling you the genitalia is not working. Their wives are telling you. They're pushing for all kinds of men to have multiple women when they aren't able to satisfy one. Men don't even know the difference between giving a woman an orgasm and not. That's really sad. Back in the days, a man would know if we had an orgasm because he could feel it. And it wasn't just in the way that we acted, because a lot of women could fake the funk. It was the way that we put off an energy so he could register it, because he was in tune with himself. His higher mind was working. A lot of men are having sex out here, and women are, why do you think a lot of women want to be with other women? Because they're not having orgasms. I'm sorry. I hope there's no children on here, but it's a fact. So men, I'm just telling you, like, women, we got things going on too, but men, really, what's going on also with y'all is that you've got to be more connected to yourselves spiritually. Because if you are young now, yeah, you're 20 something now, you may be working, but when you get to like 35 and 40 and your Johnson doesn't work, a lot of men commit suicide, because they used to always having this facade of masculinity and using their wand as a tool to prove that they're masculine. When your wand stops working, you don't even know who you are anymore, because that's been the only perimeter of your masculinity. That's the only measure of who you are as a man. And then when it stops working, a lot of men want to commit suicide. And a lot of the suicide rate is really spiked right now because the Kukarachi shot had really caused inflammation and caused circulatory issues, and a lot of men's Johnsons aren't working. It's true. The C-stars on here know, because we talk. And it's unfortunate because men won't go and get help because they're embarrassed. And this is something we need to discuss. Fathers, discuss this with your sons. Mothers, discuss this with your husbands and your sons. It's very important. Our health matters. And if these are conversations that you feel really uncomfortable having, don't have children. Don't have children. Don't bring children into a world if you're uncomfortable having a basic conversation of their sexual health. You know what I mean? That's important. I think it's important. Like, those are conversations we all have to have. And because we're in an environment of toxicity, women also are having fibroids. They're having issues with their periods. Menses is coming. It's not coming. A lot of women are having issues as well, and it's because of this radiation and all of the chemicalization of foods. We can't just go out and have like a hamburger and fries anymore and be like, oh, we could just do that every other day and we'd be okay. It isn't like that anymore. The hamburgers and fries are all tainted with all kinds of stuff. Like, the way that we used to have fun or have food, like we used to, those days are over. You have weaponized food that are being weaponized and grown and distributed by hostile foreigners who are basically killing off your reproduction. And it's affecting not just men, it's affecting women. And it's important for us, like, if you like certain foods, make it all yourself. Make it from scratch. Like, we were talking about chocolate. If you like chocolate, I like chocolate only, when I get my menses. Like, that's the time that I crave it. It's the only time I crave it. Make sure you make it yourself. It's so easy to make it with, like, cacao. You can make it and you can make it yourself. Make a lot of the things for your boys. If mommies, if you have sons, take the time to make everything from scratch, like our grandmothers did, our mothers did. It's very important, because we're going to have children that are really depreciated and won't be able to reproduce and give us grandchildren. And then you're going to regret that this conversation wasn't had. It's very important. You know what I mean? And because a lot of these channels, all of the things that are being pushed into the algorithm, that we're hearing all of these things, all these channels that are unwavered and are being pushed, they are controlled opposition. They're controlled opposition. A lot of them, that's why you won't hear certain things. They won't ever talk about, and that's why I say I love men. The fact that you say I love men, I love functioning men. A young man should be functional, and you should want your males to be happy and thriving. If you aren't having these conversations and you're just going to Walmart or the grocery store and getting basic, a lot of starch food, males do well, like even more paleo. Like, if you want to get away from grains, like the same way I buy my dogs grain-free food, grain-free, why would we eat grains when it's being weaponized? You can go and get fresh Amish meat or meat sources that I've given before. I won't give them before. You can look them up. Places that are not, they're not putting vaccines in their stock of meat. They're not putting steroids in their meat. They aren't feeding their cattle corn and soy. If you're eating any food meat source and they feed them corn and soy, which is all of your Walmart meat sources, that is going to translate between when you consume it and what it does to our bodies. And I told you what it did to mine. Like just the fact that they're putting coffee when you go and get your coffee, and if you don't get a full bean and they're not watching for mold or for pesticides, a lot of the coffee is causing issues. So I had an issue, an allergy to the coffee based on the fact that it was already ground. It probably ground out with bugs and whatever have you, and chemicals and mold. Yeah, what happened? We used to go to the butchers. Remember back in the days, the West Indians still do that. Like if you go to like West Indian neighborhoods, Spanish, a lot of them, like in Brazil, we go to butchers. A lot of the time when you go to the grocery store in Brazil, the supermarkets in Brazil, they all have the butchers in the back of the store. So you generally will go, like even with Colombia was like that. Colombia, Mexico, I think is like that too. So it's very important. Oh, the graphene oxide. Oh, Jennifer's already getting the graphene oxide is in meat as well. Yeah. And there's a way to get that out though. I found a way to do that. Halal stores are good as far as making sure the meat isn't unhealthy spiritually or traumatized. But halal doesn't take in consideration, chemical free and so on. So halal does certain things, but it doesn't mean it's organic or soy free. So it's like, be careful. You have to ask. You really have to ask. And a lot of times they don't know. If they don't know what the feed is, then obviously you shouldn't be purchasing it there. We have to be the change we see in the world. If you and yourself, you say to yourself, I want better, we have to do it. We can't expect, you can't expect your teacher to teach your children values and morals and ethics. You can't expect your teachers to teach your children facts. They are weaponized social systems of MK Ultra. They are only going to teach the core. It's not like the teachers back in the days that would give you core and then they give you opinion. They bring in some of the things that they liked, and some of them. That isn't the case anymore. Schools are weaponized with socially engineered information totally to make your children into drones and worker bees. Okay? That's their total motivation. The only education that should truly be of value is what you give to your own offspring. Whenever my children know things about historical accounts, I teach them that. That isn't a responsibility for the teacher to teach my children anything. It's my responsibility as a parent to give them information. That's how you chronologically give information generation to generation. If you allow others, especially hostile people who don't like your nationality, who don't like your color, who don't like your people, to teach your children, then you are basically teaching children. That's why a lot of men don't mate people who look like their mothers anymore. Because they've weaponized the system to make men attracted to those that are the opposite and also come from weaponized backgrounds. So now you have men mating with women that are genetically hostile, mating with genetically hostile cellular memory type of women, and those children will come out to hate themselves. So it's important for even in the mating, like the perpetuation of who should mate with who, that should come from you. And mommies, when we're healthy and we're happy and we tell our sons that we love them and we give them kisses and hugs and tell you how we value them, you know who they're going to choose when they get married? Do I have to tell you? Do you have to tell you? My brother chose his wife, and she looks almost like my mom. My cousins chose wives that look like my aunties. When you treat your sons well and you value them and you care about their feelings and you don't just tell them, I pay the bills in here, that makes them feel like they're not valued. Like that, especially in the hood, when you tell them that they're not paying the bills, that you make them feel like they aren't valued. You have to give the love to your boys. A lot of moms are very abusive to their boys, especially in the hood. And these boys go out and get women that look the opposite of their mothers. And that has a lot to do with how the women show value of themselves in the household, and also how the women aren't showing and displaying love to their sons. And, that translates. And mothers, if your son are getting with women that look the opposite of you, everything the opposite, it says something about you. It says how he feels about you, how he feels, how you raised him, how you gave him love. I'm not saying it's in every case scenario, but my loner girlfriends, they choose men that are very similar to their fathers, like I did. I choose men that look very similar to my father. I love my daddy. I love the way my dad looked. I love my family. I love my complexion. I love my hair texture. I love my body shape. I pick a man that was very similar to my family because he treated me like, my dad treated me like a beautiful beautiful, beautiful little girl. He treated me like, he gave me such reverence. There wasn't a man who could have told me how much he loved me other than my father. So I chose men who remind me of my father. So I'm just saying, like, this is not for me to dictate who you should, but I'm just saying, like, when you start seeing sickness showing up, it usually shows up when people trying to remedy themselves by getting with other people who they feel can remedy some of the pain or insecurity or self-loathing that they had or their mothers suffered from or fathers. So I'm just saying, you know, it's important for everyone to, we got to get it up right now, y'all. We got a lot of things going on. You got Texas, you got a false flag brewing in Texas. I hope y'all in Texas, be careful. You need to wear a gas mask going out here. If you want to go represent Texas, you better go wear yourself a gas mask. Because that's a setup in the making. Just what they did in January 6th or 7th. I think it was January 7th or 6th. Remember what those patriots went over to the White House? Okay? That was a setup. That was purposefully done. And do not think that you have any which politician that's going to work on your accord, you know, whether it's holographic pooping President Biden or it's Trump. Remember, it's they all in the same arena. Now, they're attacking Trump. So it makes me think that it could be an illusion, a setup to make him martyr him, to make him more likely to be voted in, because sometimes they'll do the controlled opposition. But I will tell you, look at who his daughter married. I always listen, I don't look at just the front. I look at the back. Because a lot of times people be like this. Remember this? What was it, Yayo? He was like this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Meanwhile, you looking here. Why aren't you looking behind them? I always look, like, even with family dynamics, I don't necessarily look at what you present as, because you could present, this could be a representative. It could be all different than what you have going in the background. I look at what's going on in Trump's family, who his daughter married, what social system is being set up in the background. That's how I know. I don't ever look at the front. That's a New York thing too. You sit on the sub, like if I'm driving a car in New York, especially in Brooklyn, big up to Brooklyn. But we were raised like that. I'm driving in Brooklyn. If I see a guy in front of me doing something crazy, what's the first thing I look? I look in my rear mirror to see if somebody's coming behind me to do something crazy. So when I see somebody doing something crazy in the front, the first thing I've been taught to do is look at my peripheral and look at my back, because that's usually when you really see the real. Okay? The distraction doesn't mean that that's what they want you to focus on. But what's going on is really in the back layer. So that's why when I see Texas being highlighted, go 700,000 going to Texas, I'm thinking to myself, how come no one's listening and looking over in China, posting up on Taiwan's water, encroaching on Taiwan's water, posting around Taiwan right now, encroaching on their water, and nobody's talking about it. So meanwhile, we looking at Texas, but nobody's seeing how China's posturing right now. And also, remember that whole thing when we heard Alexa say that the World War III would be kicked off with China and sleeper cells coming to kill everybody in their houses? Starting in February and March? Well, holy cow, we got the Super Bowls happening on the 10th. We had that false flag happen with them lone wolf Chinese men killing off people, kicking off last year during Chinese New Year, first on the moon celebration. You know, if I was a betting woman, I would say that's who's going to kick it off. So I'm just saying, y'all, so I don't want to keep you too long. I hope this was helpful. Just pay attention. And I come over here and I'm really a representation of mothers with children because a lot of people say, why do you still come on YouTube? Remember, I came on YouTube before YouTube was a advertisement whore. Okay. I came on here with some really amazing, valuable people, that were encouraging because they were just sharing from their own perspectives. I come on really as a representation because I remember like Dr. Blair, Dr. Jewel Brookman, Dr. Lele Africa, which was like my professor's friend, Professor Jeffries. And let me say this, for anyone who's from CCNY or from Columbia University, Please, I know that one of the Sun Stars and Sea Stars, Sun Stars alerted me to Dr. Jeffries needing some assistance. If someone knows Dr. Jeffries, I would love to donate to him to help him out. He was my professor, and I feel really sad that I heard he's not doing too well. And he really needs help. He's older. We have to help our elders, y'all. I think it isn't enough for us to take the information and really revere these people and then allow them to die alone in their houses and not help them. I think it's our responsibility as their communities to really protect those who really brought us up, who raised us up. So if anybody knows Professor Jeffries, you know something about him, if you can give me a donation site and I can have people donate for this man was amazing. And the reason why I speak so eloquently, how I really had a mind that expanded further, and it was only one course I took with him, it was because of Professor Jeffries. And I really would love for him to, and all of our elders to really be taken care of. We shouldn't expect that other people should do it. It's our community, it's our responsibility, and I want to definitely make sure that our elders, while they're still here and when they leave this earth, they leave with dignity. Okay, so if anybody knows, I don't know his information. Some of you know from New York. If you know Professor Jeffries, some of you know who he is. If you can send his information and I can put it up and we can give donations to him, so we can have like somebody come in and help him out, or I want to make sure that he lives well while he's here. Okay, as we should. All right. All right, y'all. So, any questions? Any more questions? Anybody have anything? Lena, yes, Shadow King. Thank you. He's healed. Is he healed? Just let me know, please. I know he may be healed, but let me know if there's anything I could do, or if he needs anything, please. What do you think about Malachi Zior? I don't think I have one thought that's just about him. Like, I feel like he represented something from an alien, from an extraterrestrial point of view that frightened the heck out of the government. When he was building pyramids, he had the Nawapians, which still exist to this day. We know, big up to our sea star, Umi, Master Umi, who's also from his, she was one of his sages, one of his priestesses from his organization. I think what he created was amazing. I think what he did was frightening to the others. They did not want, him personally, what he did, I can't say or say otherwise, that whether he did something to children or not, I can't say that. You know, I've heard his sons, and I think that when sons make accusations, there may be some validity to it. But what I will say is that he represented something that was beyond what most people, brown people in this country had access to. And I think definitely, I know he was in contact with the other extraterrestrials. Also, I know that the fact when someone is arrested for child molestation or whatever the case is, they normally don't destroy their whole facility. Atlanta should have been up in arms. I'm really shocked. Master Umi showed us what they did to those facilities, those pyramids, those beautiful artworks, that wonderful energy that was over there on the 33rd parallel in Atlanta. I think it's very disgusting that when they arrested him for whatever reasons, I can't say otherwise, but makes me think it's really suspicious that the government went over there and destroyed all of his property. That wasn't their property to destroy. And no one did anything about it. Not one person, not one celebrity, not one athlete. And that's how you know all these people are under a handler. Okay? They destroyed it. If anybody want to look up and like, listen, if someone is arrested for child molesting or doing something to children, when is it that they go in their house and they level their houses? You never see that. They did that to his facilities. It's sick. Like, it lets you know that they were frightened. And also, sea stars and sun stars, you're living in a land of Satanists. The beings in this country, this is a Satanist country. It is a Messianic, devil-worshipping, satanic, Illuminati Zionist country. You must know, like, when every country has its base religion, like, you go to the Middle East, mostly it's under Islam. You go to Israel, it's under Judaism. You go to other places, they're Christian. We are living in a country that are satanic, Messianic, devil-worshipping, children-eating, child molesting. And you cannot get mad at cartels without getting mad at the sources of why they're able to send all these children to this country. We are the #1 consumers of child pornography and child molestation and child consumption. You cannot get mad at cartels that are just benefiting from trafficking children to the #1 country, which is the United States, that takes children and eats them. The Zionists use them for rituals. Why do you think all under Brooklyn, you had all these freaking car seats and things in that tunnel under that synagogue? It was a synagogue of Satan. You cannot tell me that. And then when you have these people posturing themselves saying, oh, there were no mattresses stained with blood and fecal. Well, God darn it. That's like, remember when what's his name? The comedian said, Richard Pryor said, you gonna believe me or your lying eyes? That's what he said. You gonna believe me or your lying eyes? We saw what was underneath the ground. And it was a C-Star who kept that footage, because that's why they went over there to concrete it. They didn't think we'd get that weaponized video before they were going to create it, because remember, the Epstein disclosure probably told what was up in them tunnels. So they were going there to seal the tunnels. But unfortunately for the idiots who were up in that synagogue, they disclosed, they went in there getting broke up. But they didn't realize that the video was going to go out to the public. They were trying to cover it up for them. Don't play games, synagogue of Satan. Okay? And stop calling people anti-Semitic when you're not even a Semite. A Semite looks like me. A Semite is an Arab, an African. That's a Semite. Stop it already. Stop doing that. You go around weaponizing music in African American communities, brown communities, and you benefit from that fiscally, and you are satanic. You are Satanist. Only people who hurt children and promote it and purchase it and do it, they are Satanists. Stop it already. Stop making it seem like people are talking. No, not all Jews are doing satanic rituals. No, but the synagogue of Satan is. Just like you have Christians with the Catholic Church and all the diocese and all the freaking Pope doing all kinds of diabolicalness, doesn't mean all Christians are doing diabolicalness. It just means that in that sector, there hosts some satanic type of individuals. Stop it already. Don't listen to these clowns. They sit up here, they projecting on you. They trying to call you something, meanwhile they hide in their hands bones of children. Okay? Don't play games with me, devil. You're Satanists. And that's why the cartels are making so much money bringing children over here, because you are purchasing it. United States is the #1 purchaser of children of mass destruction. And all these immigrants. You need to tell these mothers that if they send their children here, they're going to be used for sex trafficking, and then they're going to be sexually abused and mutilated, and then they're going to take their organs. And then if that's the worst, they might eat them. These are Baphomet, Satanists, Lucifer. They're not even Luciferian, because Luciferian is another sector. These are demons. Stop buying their music. Stop purchasing anything where they can weaponize, because you're basically giving them the funds to do these awful things to you. I'm sick of people saying, oh, I don't like these people, but you purchasing their garbage music. Anytime you listen to that devil boy, what's his name? Little X, there's another X, Little Nas X. You listening to that demon, he doesn't even want to be a homosexual. They said he doesn't act gay enough, they're going to not give him a label. You listening to stuff like that, who is the producer of that music? Would you ever hear any sort of rabbi or priest project or donate that kind of music to their own people? That's when you have to ask the question. When we ask questions and we question someone's ethics and morals, if they won't do it to their own people, if they won't give that kind of mind control, low vibrational music to their own children, why then would you purchase it from them? If that is not the garbage that they allow their own children to listen to and to engage with, why then are you producing money so that weaponizes them so they can purchase children and they can destroy your own children? Do you know in all these states that it is, if you speak anything about the synagogue of Satan, that they are weaponizing it so they can fine you and put you in jail and say that it's anti-Semitic? That is absolutely not true. There are a lot of beautiful Jews, more Jews that are beautiful than not, all throughout the world. Why are these one segment of Satanists trying to weaponize a terminology that they're not even a part of? Remember that movie from what was it? What was he? A basketball player, right? He shared a documentary. It's called From Something to Jerusalem. Was it From Something to Jew? It was a Jewish movie talking about brown Jews, right? What was it called? Do you guys remember what the documentary was? It was a really good documentary. It was From Something to, God darn it. Does anyone remember it? So I forgot the name of the documentary. It was really good. And stop weaponizing. Like, there's a lot of people that are Jewish that are wonderful people. Stop linking them. Kyrie Irving, thank you. Stop weaponizing Jews, because Jewish people are not supporting all that other stuff. But the synagogue of Satan is. Okay, Kylie Irving. What's the name of the documentary, y'all? It was a really good documentary. What is it called? Because there's a lot of Jewish, like, do you guys know the documentary? Anybody know it? Kyrie Irving, but what was the documentary? I forgot, I watched it. I forgot what it was called. What was it called? Oh, Negroes to Hebrews. Okay, I remember, Negroes to Hebrews. Okay, it was a really good documentary. Why is it that the Zionists were all up in the documentary? What is it your business? We can watch whatever we want. Why are you trying to control what we do? Do you know that there's a lot of African and Arab Jews? Like, stop it already. Like, why can't we listen to things that are regarding to us? I know a lot of synagogues up in Brooklyn that are melanated Jewish people, that are people from Morocco, from parts of North Africa, from Ethiopia. There's a lot of Jews. So stop using terminology that has nothing to do, but they're Satanists. Okay? And they're not just in the Jewish community. They're in the Christian community, the Pope and all of them. They're in the freaking Muslim community. So stop doing it. They're all across. Listen, they're equal opportunist Satanists. They're all up in every religious organization. Okay? They are Satanists. And they work on all accords. They may have a religious front, but they're all Satanists. They have nothing to do with any religion. They're non-practicing Jews. They're non-practicing Muslims. They're non-practicing Christians. They are Satanists. So stop vilifying all of these poor people from South and Central America that have made an income off of the necessities of the West, eating children, using children's bodies for organ harvesting. We are the number one. Why does the Pentagon years ago, and this is what's crazy, why did the Pentagon years ago have all this information regarding child pornography all up in the Pentagon, and nobody talks about it? Where are all your people talking? Where's your intellists? You know why? Because a lot of your intellists are also child traffickers and also perverts who masturbate to child pornography. A lot of these men go out with children that are 12 and under. A lot of these people are pedophiles online. A lot of them are, or they support men who are pedophiles. They may not even be doing it, but the fact that you have friends and you support men having children, sex with girls that haven't even developed a breast yet, you are part of the Satanist sector. And do not let them fool you. And they are trying to fearmonger you. And if you support music that these demons are making that are hurting your children and causing them to be homosexually imbalanced, that is your fault. Stop promoting that in your house. We listened to great music back in the days that was healthier for our children. Stop it. You're supporting the synagogue of Satan. Okay? You're supporting it. If you eat from organizations like McDonald's and all these places that are supporting child trafficking, genocide of children, you are part of the synagogue of Satan. When they basically took Kanye out, Kanye is gone. When they took him out, He was talking about all these corporations and who's at the head of them and their backgrounds. It's interesting that nobody talks about what background Epstein came from, or Weinstein. They're all from the synagogue of Satan. Nobody talks about that. These are not just men. They're from an organization that supports that kind of craziness. And the freaking Pope. Look at the Pope. The Pope looks like a demon. You have, listen, in South and Central America and the Caribbean, my God, a lot of us come from Catholic backgrounds. Everybody worships the archdiocese. Oh, everybody wants to go to the freaking Rome to visit the Vatican. This is where they do the most killing of children. All the bones underneath. Oh, the Kardashians are a whole nother thing. Look at the Kardashians. Holes of mass destruction. And this is being promoted to your children. And you sitting there wanting to look like these women? Kim Kardashian's mother and herself orchestrated a whole sexual video to promote and acted like she was a victim. No, that was her debut. The Catholic Church, listen, I was a Roman Catholic. We know, we're loosey-goosey Catholics. It's just insane. Like, I was raised by Catholics. My grandmother didn't know that the Pope was a child molesting bastard, that the bottom of his shoes are red to represent the blood that runs down his feet from hurting children. They don't know that. When you go and see these beautiful abuelas that are in Mexico who love, they love Catholicism, they don't know that, but they're victims of mind control programming that disallow them from seeing the truth of these demons. They wouldn't ever worship these bastards if they knew what they did under their churches. I don't care if they try to fine you for not supporting them. If you support music that hurts your community, you are part of the synagogue of Satan. If you support food franchises or coffee franchises or anything that supports these bastards that are in it on genocide or child trafficking, you are a supporter of synagogue of Satan. If you go and give the Pope money and give money every time you go to these Catholic churches, you are supporting child pedophilia. Nobody talks about the fact that all these priests were molesting boys up in the church. And mothers were giving children like it was safe. Like, when would you ever give your child to a grown man privately who is told that he is not to have sex? Men get hard-ons. You know that, right? Their wands get hard. What do you think happens when men, so-called men, go and say they're giving themselves to God? You think they don't get hard-ons? No, I don't drink Starbucks anymore, love. No, I don't. Whoever said, Fleur, I love you. No, I stopped. I stopped because I knew who Starbucks was supporting. Remember, even when it was chemicalizing me, it didn't stop. I haven't drank Starbucks since I've taken my own power and said I won't support a company that supports diabolicalness. I do not. So, yes, I did before, but now I'm a non-supporter of Starbucks. That's why you see me drink. Dutch Brothers, but I made this myself in this cup. I make it myself. I stand behind my values. I do. Sometimes you don't know. When you know better, you do better. That's all. I won't support any organization that thinks it's okay to traffic children or hurt babies. You already know. I'm for the children. Before anything else, I'm for families and children. So I don't just talk about it, I be about it. And from a little girl, I stood on my values and I will stand on that square. And there isn't anyone who tells me that I cannot support something or non-support something. It is my choice. Don't let these bastards, these satanic bastards, fool you. Okay? They're all one. They're all Jesuits. They're all one organization. I don't care what background they say. I don't care if they say that they're orthodoxy what is it in Greeks? The Orthodox Greeks, the Orthodox Greeks, they're in that segment too. The Orthodox Greeks, the archdiocese up in Rome, Islam, not the Nation of Islam, Islamic faiths, like any group of people that subjects women and children to violence or to forms of mutilation or destroys them or thinks it's okay to indoctrinate them against their will. Those are all part of satanic groups. A man loves his children. I know many of Islamic men who love their children. They wouldn't hurt their daughters. They wouldn't subjugate their daughters to marriages that are against their will. Those are healthy. That's what I'm saying. When we talk about religions, you got to realize they want you to blanket and cool everything. But you have to understand that under each of these systems of religion, there's always these weird kind of sickos. They're all Satanists. So they hide under the religious organizations. So that they got to be careful. So when you say something about Jews or people from Muslims, or there are blankets of people in those organizations that kind of follow those practices, but it's not all. The majority of people who are in these organizations do not know. Like your grandmothers and grandpa, they don't know. They don't know. So we can't, like, when I talk about the synagogue of Satan, they're all in it. Protect the babies. And y'all, if you didn't know, little brown girls are being kidnapped because they want their eggs and they want their organs. Protect the brown babies. All babies. Because it's happening in Europe. I don't want to even talk about what's happening to my European family. I don't even want to talk Africa and Europe. The other day I was crying. I said, I got to pull back. I got to bring it out. Because in Africa, what's happening in the Congo is absolutely horrific. None of your so-called intellists are talking about what's happening in the Congo. It is so heartbreaking that you can't even tolerate. I can't tolerate what's happening to those people over there. It's so sad. It's so sad. I can't, as a mother, all you can do is extend protection or love or frequency, because it's very hard to watch and see. All children's lives matter, y'all. And when any group of people devalues another child's life, you know that they're demons, they're Satanists. When they devalue a child's life for how they look or their religion or their complexion, or their sex, it's because they're demonic. We have to protect the children. We have to. As a mother, I don't care where your child comes from. I don't care if she's from Sweden. I don't care if she's from the Congo. I don't care if she's from Palestine, Israel. I don't care if she's from the Caribbean, America. If your child is being harmed and it is right in front of me, I will do my best, my 1000% to protect her or him. That's my directive. Like, I came from that kind of healthiness. There isn't anything like what happened in Iraq when 9/11 happened, and we know that that was a setup, okay? So they create a diversion to give them an excuse to go into another country and genocide the people. No one talks about the devastation that Iraq and Kuwait had experienced in Afghanistan from the hands of United Fakes and other countries who supported it. No one talked about the amount of people that were devastated, just traumatized, trauma programming, how depressed they were. Nobody talks about that. War isn't war. You can't be in a war with the people who can't protect themselves from you. That's not a war. That's called genocide. If you have a group of people that have absolutely zero defenses and you are weaponizing all of your amazing technology, it's because you're a genocidal maniac. You're using an excuse to go in and kill people because you wanted to do that anyway. Okay? Don't get me started, y'all. I'm going to get all round up. Okay? I won't be supporting anything. Okay? Quiet Weapons for Quiet Wars. Yeah, absolutely. It's a great book. But anyway, y'all, I don't want to get amped up. Listen, I am an actor. This is a skit. I'm a comedic. This is not true. I am anti-zero. There isn't anything that you could say. This isn't a hateful video. This is a truthful video. And this is a video that every single channel should talk about the same topics. But the reason why they don't is because they're playing it safe, because they don't want their channels infiltrated. They don't want their little money to go away. But guess what? I'm about this life. Oh yes, Matt, is the supplements. You shouldn't be taking any supplements. If you take supplements, it needs to be sold from another country, that that the water source is healthy. And also, remember, all your medications are coming from Chinois. Big up to Marie. We didn't know that. We were on Zoom, and I found out from Marie that the actual medications, most of our medications are coming from Chinois' neck of the woods. Okay? That's coming from the neck of the woods. So a lot of times I think Paris told this. Paris at one point. Paris from the group had said this before. I think there was one of what is it? What was it? you know, your when you take it when you're pregnant. One of those was like Infiltrate. It was a company. I don't know. I forgot what it was. But Nature's Way. I think it was Nature's Way or something. I forgot. Paris had mentioned that. I don't remember what it was. But there's a lot of vitamins that have a lot of chemicals in it and metals. So I forgot what it was. So just this is my thing. The best thing that you could take are fresh fruits and vegetables that you grow yourself, or go for places and farms that have a lot of integrity. There's not much you can get out of. If you're feeling sick, get the heck out of the country. If you're feeling really sick and your body is fighting you more than you fighting it, then you need to leave and give yourself a little reprieve. Because a lot of times what you don't realize, like I realized when I didn't do the wheats, I got the wheats. Nature's Bounty. Thank you, Empress. Nature's Bounty. When I wasn't feeling well and I took out the wheat and the coffee that was ground, I felt better. So it's important for everyone to say, like, listen, the United States is taken over, y'all. And it is taken over by nefarious foreigners that are trying to kill the people who are from the States. This is a loop, y'all. We're in a simulation, and the simulation is going back through a loop. Remember when we had the colonizers come here and kill off the Indians? Well, now we're the Indians, okay? So now the colonizers came in, the Shinwa and the others, the host of others, have come in here to kill us off, okay? It's a cylindrical pattern. We're in a program. It's just going in a loop. Now we're the natives that they're trying to get rid of. You know what I'm saying? We in that territory now. If you stay long enough, you end up being on the reciprocation end. You know what I'm saying? Get out. If you're not feeling well, I always say, like, one of our sea stars went over to Jamaica. Another sea star went over to over to Colombia. Get yourself some fresh air and some good food. If you're feeling really sick, if you're feeling unwell, I always say take a break. Mexico has some wonderful places. Let me say this. I know that they're demonizing Mexico, and not all Mexicans are cartel. I'm not saying there's not a lot of that, but you cannot demonize Mexico when you can't demonize your own country. We got the biggest cartel called the United States government up in this piece. You cannot talk about the cartel in Mexico when you can't even acknowledge your government is the cartel here. Okay? So stop vilifying Mexico for the very thing that your country is the one using everything. So stop it. Mexico, gratefully, is a safe place. You can go there. There are beautiful places. Some of the most magnificent people I've met in Mexico. If you want to go to get a little reprieve, go to a place, don't go and do drugs and so on, because you're going to invite the demons to you. But go and have a good time and get yourself, just come and get yourself a little fresh air, some good food, and some really beautiful people. A lot of the abuelas that are from Mexico, big to our Mexicanos, have a lot of the old ways. Also, if you're pregnant and you want to have healthy babies, giving birth in a lot of places where they have the best midwives in Mexico, the best. And Colombia has a few, then take a little bit and take time abroad, okay? It will just give you reprieve. If you don't feel like going into South America, Africa has some plenty of countries that are beautiful. The Caribbean still has some beautiful places. In Jamaica, one of our girlfriends was just, Haru said they were in Jamaica too. They were just in Jamaica, had a wonderful time in the grill. Caribbean islands still before the pole shift, it's a wonderful place. And also like New Iceland, Norway, Holland, big up to Sweden. Those are places that have really fresh air, really good food, healthy food. So if you're feeling like you're being inundated, this is just my recommendation, maybe because I'm a Sag, I travel a lot, I come from foreign people. Take a little break with you and your children, your husband, and go take a little break somewhere else to get your body back together, okay? So there's places in Europe you could still go to. Europe has some magnificent places. They have more standards on health requirements with food that they distribute to their people, because they're not trying to kill everybody off. Go and take a little break and save up a little money. Go in and get your endocrine system, healthy again. Go and do something that brings health back to your body again, okay? And you'll think a little more rationally. So you don't have to go into South America if you don't feel comfortable, but you can also go to Europe. And some of you in northern part of Europe, also and also for some of you who are scared, who are in the northern hemisphere, northeast, you can also go into Canada. Canada, though it has Trudeau, which is a devil of mass destruction, it doesn't mean you aren't able to go into Montreal. I love Montreal and Quebec. It's very cold right now. I wouldn't say now, but you can go into, Canada doesn't have as many chemicalization of their food, and a lot of places don't have chemtrails. You can go and drive over the border. I've done it from Vermont. I love Vermont. Drove over the border and go over and spend a little time in Montreal, Quebec. I love that because I'm francophonic, so maybe I have a preference to going to a French part, but you can also go to the other part. So just to get a little bit of a break so that you aren't chemtrail. The chemtrails are messing with your endocrine system, and also you need fresh food and fresh water. If you go into countries where they aren't inundated with tons of chemicals in their water, you will have, your system can recover. If you can't, you have to take breaks. If you're going to stay in the United States, listen, we're in a war right now, and it's about to kick off. When the Chinois go buck wild, you may not even be able to leave. I don't even know if they'll take our passports. But for now, you can do so. Take your family and take them out and get a little bit of reprieve, okay? There are countries that still have healthiness. Not every country is at war, okay? And, you know, like I said, you can go places and just get a little bit of a break from your family and yourself. Just go get some fresh water, peace, and just, you know, recover. Because you in all out war. If you're going to stay for the war, you got to be in shape. Like, I'm working out. You know, I like to be thick. I like to, you know, enjoy food, you know, and everything. But, you know, we gotta, you know, we have to be prepared. I'm a mother. I'm the matriarch in my family. I am the stand for my tribe. I have to be the healthiest, you know, mind, body, and spirit. And I have to be able to, you know, I can't just talk about it. I got to be about it. I got to be a great example for my children as well. So, you know what I mean? So I just suggest you do the same. So just get a little bit of a break, y'all. Okay. And do your research on the different companies. There are some great companies in the Midwest that do sell non-infiltrated food that aren't putting, yes, pine needle tea is very good too. You can make that. It's really good for you. You could get meats that aren't pumped with cucarachas. They don't put shots in them. They aren't feeding them soy and corn. You can go and it's a lot costly because a lot of moms will say they can't afford it. But if you can do your hair and get fake eyelashes and fake nails, then you could, you know, it's all priorities. You know, I'm not doing my hair. I cut my hair. I don't do my hair. I'm not doing nails. I'm not putting makeup on, a master structure. I'm not putting eyelashes on. So the money that I normally would spend to do all those things, that's extra for me to spend on my family and myself. So it's your priorities. So if your priority is to look, you know, to do all that stuff, then of course you're not going to be able to afford it because your priority is just to, you know, look like something, because when the pole shift comes, you're not going to be able to wear all that stuff. So why not prioritize? And also, a healthy body, you don't need to put fake stuff on. When you're healthy, your skin should be clear. When you're healthy, your hair should be healthy. You shouldn't have to wear fake eyelashes when you have beautiful eyelashes. Actually, long eyelashes are really for males. Males are the ones who usually, in our species of human, males are the ones who usually have longer eyelashes. So that's really a transsexual trend. You know that, right? Really, that's in itself. Like men generally, genetically, that's who usually has longer eyelashes. I mean, you could always have it, but I'm saying if you stop putting on fake stuff and just eating well, because take the money and put it into good, healthy food, you won't even have to wear fake eyes, fake eyelashes and hair and stuff, because you'll look healthy. Okay? Oh, people put that stuff on when they're not healthy. When you walk around and stuff, like this woman said one time, like, I don't like Fleur Brun because she doesn't wear makeup. Well, because you're a freaking man. The only person who would say that channel who said that about me, oh, I don't like women who don't wear makeup because you're a freaking trans man pretending you're a woman and a housewife, fooling everybody, acting like you're a woman, a housewoman, giving people advice on how to take advantage of men because you're a man trying to be a woman. So of course you're going to say you don't like women that look natural, because that makes you look fake. Because if every natural woman who is genetically a woman stopped wearing makeup, y'all wouldn't even have a place. You only have a place mark because women are wearing makeup. But if natural women, it just genetically, fully 1000% women stop wearing makeup, y'all wouldn't even exist. Okay? So that's why you didn't like me. Keep it real. If you want to be a man, but don't tell people you're a woman and a housewife when really you're a man. They know who I'm talking about. Okay? Don't play games. Don't criticize people for being natural and being a woman. If I was doing what's that stuff? Ozempic. Someone's like, oh, well, you know, at least you know I'm not pumping Ozempic in me because I'm not squared up looking like this, looking like I'm sick. I'm just natural. Listen. And if I have to work out, I got to work out. I don't mind going and working out, getting myself in shape. It is what it is. If you start doing stuff like that, Ozempic and stuff, y'all, you messing with your eggs. If some of you don't have children yet, stop. Refrain from doing stuff with drugs, because if you have eggs in you and you haven't had your children yet, you're basically messing up your egg stock. Women, we have all our eggs inside of us. So just know that when you take Ozempic and drugs and cocaine and what is that? Governmental marijuana, Ozempic, whatever the heck they're doing, what all that stuff is, you messing up your eggs. You want to have healthy babies, and then you wonder when the babies come, they'd be like, oh, wow, you know, because we got to, you know, I'm not young. I'm not having any more children. I'm not young anymore. I had all my children, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Be the change you want to see in the world. Get the name out your system. Birth control and so on, yeah. You look 50s, look like you're in your 30s. You're supposed to golden. That's why your name is golden. Yeah, you are supposed to. Aging is a disease. You know that, right? Aging is a disease. You aren't supposed to age. You don't see lions turning gray. You don't see dogs. There's some dogs that do turn gray. But you don't see dogs. Now, they atrophy a little bit. They start moving a little faster. They get a little slower. But they don't turn, you know, they don't look, you know, you don't see lions. Like a lion could be older. The only way you know they're older is because they look a little skinnier or they look differently. But you're not supposed to age. Aging is a disease. People who age the quickest are now natural. They're GMOs. Those are probably NPCs or GMO people. GMO people don't last as long. People are genetically homogenized, like they're generations of homogenized people. They're not natural, so they age quicker. Those are the ones who pumping on them age, those age things. Like those age creams and all that stuff, because they got to do that because they don't last. People who are natural look the same. Okay, they look the same from the time they're 20 to the time they're usually 60 and 70. Only a little bit of difference, maybe gravity a little bit, but that's about it. You aren't supposed to age like that. Aging is a byproduct of our exposure to the surface of all these chemicals, and then also all of this food that's being genetically homogenized. It's destroying the way our bodies, you know, our bodies are fighting themselves all the time. That's why it's actually good to fast. You know, when we fast, we talk about fasting. It's very good to fast every once in a while. If your body's kind of, sunscreen isn't good, but some people need it. So if you do sunscreen, remember there's a lot of chemicals in it. You could do beaver. What is it? I love beaver. What's it called? Something beaver. Beaver's a good one for those who are very fair skinned who need sunscreen. You could do, what is it called? What is a beaver on? What's the name of the, I always share this. I bought it for, it's called Beaver. I forgot the whole name. It's called something Beaver. Or you can use aloe. Aloe's really good. Aloe's really good for the skin. If you're fair skin and you require something on your layer on your skin, aloe vera is amazing on your skin. Fresh aloe vera. Always have that aloe vera plant around and you put it on your skin. It's a great protective. So you can do that. There's a lot of ways you can kind of protect your skin. You can do a little bit. I like to use a little bit of clay. Like you could do a little clay if I'm going somewhere because my skin looks like clay. I have clay. You know, my skin looks like a copper clay. So I usually take, like, when you see my face, it's not so shiny because I get shiny. I take tallow is really good. I like tallow. I take a little bit of clay and I like to put it, like, you know how you, like the women, Asian women use like rice powder. I use clay and I put clay on my skin. And my skin loves the clay. It eats it up. When I was in Brazil though, big ups my Brazilians. Tudo bem? Tudo bom. I like to, in Brazil, they have this red clay, and also in Atlanta, you guys do too. But in Brazil, you know, we were driving around in dirt all the time, especially in Bahia. Bahia is beautiful, but in Bahia, they have this red dirt, and I would always drive and get dirt on my skin, and it made my skin like so magnetic. It was so beautiful. Like I was like, I crave like that type of clay too. So I love clay on the skin. Yafi, you guys have great clay over in Israel's neck of the woods. You guys have like the best salt scrubs. Like the Red Sea and the around that area, you guys have really good clay and salt. Really good salt for the skin. I love it. Okay, so those are great things. I love clay on the skin. So if you have, even if you're fair skin, get like a whitish, get like a clearish, like Dead Sea salt. I love Dead Sea salt. But get like a little clay if you're fair skin and just put it on your skin. My grandmother was very fair skin with red hair. So you know gingers, y'all burn. My grandmother, yeah, isn't it crazy? My grandmother was very redhead. So she used to put like a really beautiful clay. It was like a nice, what was it? Oh God, it's a French name for it. I forgot. Where's my Frenchies? It's like a French clay, but it's like very whitish. She used to put it on her skin because she used to get molds, and she put it on her skin. Looked so nice. It was just, it almost gave her a matte look. I forget. It's a French clay. My Frenchies may know what it is. It's old fashioned too. She used to do it, and her skin just looked really nice, really nice. She had you gingers, whether you're brown gingers or lunar gingers, you guys. It might have been a kaolin clay, maybe she used it. It might have been that. But gingers, you guys burn very much. So it's because your skin is very sensitive. You got that copper hair. It could be the catalyst thing. So just make sure you cover your skin with clay. So I like clay, and I like aloe vera for skin. If you're somewhere where the sun is really, really, because remember, we have the sun simulator. I can't even say that our sun is real anymore, y'all. We got different versions of the sun. You got sun that doesn't burn, and you got sun that burns. So you need to put a little bit on your skin, because whatever's out here, the radiation, you should. Oh, the Dead Sea malt, the mud. Yes, yes. That's really good. What happened in the Bronx, Shadow? Yo, Shadow, what happened in the Bronx? You know, BX, that's 13X. Yo, Shadow, you know that's 13X, right? B is for 13, and then X. So that's another X. Something may happen in the Bronx, too. What happened in the Bronx? Shadow, what happened? Goddess, it's something beaver. I'm waiting for An to tell me. I don't know if An's back at work. I use it beaver. I bring it with me certain places. I have a little one that's a little more fair skin. Her skin is a little more fair. If we don't have aloe vera, I use that one. Arizona, Ra asked if Arizona is a cool spot. Arizona has some decent spots there. I'm not opposed to Arizona. No. For the pole shift, you know, it doesn't have anything extreme happening in Arizona, in parts of Texas. So I think if you stay a little more, what is that? Is that more north or south? I don't know where it is. If you go a little bit further in, like not Sedona, but a little further in, it's really a beautiful place to go. And if it sits well with you, if you do your astrocartography and you do well in Arizona, I really like Arizona. I like the people in Arizona. Oh wait, Shadow King says, the working of the plan was retroactive. It never happened. Oh, something happened? Something was about to go down? Green Beaver? No, it's called something Beaver. Where's An? An, are you here? I think An's at work. It's called, I'll put the name on afterwards. It's called something Beaver, y'all. Oh, gosh. I wish I could remember. It's really good. I love their company. Oh, oh, God. If An's in here, if not, I'll put the name later, y'all. Just remind me the name, because I'll put it. I have it inside. I carry it sometimes. Like if we're going to South America and it's really hot, I always carry it. I have a fairer skin. Wait, An, put it in the thing, An. Text me the name. An is texting me now. An, text me the name of the beaver thing. I'll tell you, Sea Stars. Yeah, Arizona is really quite lovely. I told you about in Sedona, the rocks eat your pain, eat your sadness. They eat it. So you can go there and clear yourself in Sedona. I told you, remember when I was there? It eats your pain. Actually, we're going to take a drive there one of these days. I got to drive over to Sedona. I love Sedona. But I don't stay there long. I let the rocks take away any sort of like anything inside that's negative. They eat it. So you want to go there for like maybe a day or two, and then no, it's not beaver dust. It's not green. I don't know if it's green tea. I'm going to give it to you. I know everybody's waiting. I'm waiting for An to tell me. I have it inside in my packed bag. Georgia is crazy. Somebody said Georgia's crazy. She's talking about DMX. Who's talking about DMX? DMX. Where the wood, where the hood at? Da-da-da. I love men from the Bronx. I have a thing. It's like a thing. Oh, let me stop. We're going on today. Your daughter eats red dirt? Red dirt is, I like the way it tastes when I was in Brazil. It goes on me. Yeah. I like